to explore the Hartman Park, which has 3 major trail systems that I really love: the blue, the red, and the orange. But today I'm going to start with the Orange Heritage Loop, which is a historical loop where you find fun things along the way. There is a great map of the Hartman Park online. I'll put a link to this in the comments. Beginning in the parking lot, I'll head up to the mill site, schoolroom, Lee Barn, Lee Farm, up the big scramble to the Chapman Farm, overlook, down to the fireplace. We'll look for the Clark Farm, the charcoal kiln, the 3 chimneys, the sheep shed, the stone end house, another charcoal kiln, to the flume, to the cemetery, and then back where we started. And we're off. One thing that I'm going to do in post is label all the trail names and put up color arrows so you can see just how clearly marked this trail system is. It is impeccably done. If you get lost out here, it's because you're forgetting to compare trailblazes to a map. There's just so much out here and it's so easy to find. There are a lot of main trails and a lot of interconnecting trails, which I will show you along the way, but I'm now at my first site. So let's take a look. And now to my left is a beaver dam. There we go, and a bridge. It's always good to start off a hike with a really good bridge. And every bridge is a really good bridge, unless it's unsafe and you're gonna fall through. Heading up this hill, we should arrive at our first point of interest. It's gonna be good. The schoolroom picnic site. And then our second point of interest should be right over here. The mill site. Yes, there was an old mill. You can learn all about the little markers on these signs. There you go. I'm not going to read it for you. You can come out here and do all that. There's only so much I can do. This is called schoolroom. They must have camp here or something where kids go. I don't know. But this is the Heritage Loop, continues over here through this stone wall. A nice woodsy little trail going over a stone bridge. Probably a stream here some points of the year, maybe in the spring. Still fun. And this is actually the top of the ferry loop right here, which is a one-way trail. I'll take you there a little later. But for now, let's continue up this Heritage Loop to this cool tree with like a stone nest in the center of it. Fun for kids of all ages, so hop in the center of that, take a selfie. I'll let you do it. And we're at an intersection with a yellow connector trail. Yellow connector trails get you to places quick if you don't want to go the long route. But we're going to stop at our next attraction, which should be number 3. White trails, white blazes lead to attractions. Attractions? I don't know. Sites, special sites. Whatever. Here's number 3, the Lee Barn. This is actually a pretty cool one. It's a pretty good remaining foundation here. And let's go back on the white trail, reconnect with our Heritage Loop, and continuing up the way. And now we're going to share the trail with the purple road. And see, this is so well blazed. So easy to find. And according to the map, our next site is right over here, and I see the sign for it. Ta-da! Number 4, the Lee Farmhouse. And apparently the 2 trees right in front of me are growing out of the dirt depression foundation. So yep, there's 2 trees growing out of a foundation. You can probably see this even better in person, but it's still pretty cool. All right, so turning back around, that's the purple road we came up, and now I'm going to turn onto Heritage Loop and continue along the trail. Although we're going to go straight right here on Heritage Loop, to my right is the Walbridge Woodlands Trail. I'll do that section of the trail probably in a separate video because this park is so huge with the Lyme Land Trust. There's so many trail systems out here. We're going to focus on Hartman today. And let's keep going. Orange Trail. I'm coming up on the Yellow Trail connector, so if you wanted to shortcut the big scramble ahead, didn't want to do that larger hike, you could take that left and it would connect you up ahead. You'd miss one side, I think, but most of them you'd still catch. But look at this, a bridge. Woohoo! It's one of my favorite things. And this one actually has water under it, which is one of my favorite things too. And now the big scramble, the moment you've either been waiting for or dreading. In 85-degree weather with 80% humidity, where you can actually breathe in your water supply. Do I seem out of breath? It's because I'm carrying a 30-pound backpack. Worth it. That was not as easy to film as I thought it would be. It's so hot. And I'm balancing with trucker pulls. It's too much. Okay, no more talking. Breathe deeply. That was a cool split rock to find on the trail, and now I'm doing a little mini scramble here and prepping for AT hike Pennsylvania, Rocksylvania, which any place in Connecticut is probably good practice for that. As my husband says, the Connecticut state flower are rocks. Woohoo! It looks like I'm coming up on our next site here, which is pretty cool looking. And let me just try to find the marker for it. There it is, number 5, Chapman Farm. And moving along. There's no historical plaque here, so I couldn't tell you anything about it. This looks like a little sheep pen right here. See that? Under the bridge, the tree bridge, down a winding road. It's like a little rabbit tunnel, a little rabbit hole. And ta-da, a meadow with telephone poles, but a meadow. It's one of my favorite things. The overlook. And the upper look. Continuing on. Continuing on the Heritage Loop, heading back into the forest. In case you thought the big scramble was too much work, it's the little scramble. Still part of the Heritage Loop, but it's a side trail to the Heritage Loop, and it's fun, so I'm going to do it. In all honesty, though, the big scramble is not that bad. I actually really love it. It's very short-lived, though, so don't be intimidated by it. You don't want to miss the sight at the top. And here's the actual little scramble, which is quite little. I'm coming back upon the reconnection spot of the trail, rejoining Heritage Loop to Heritage Loop. And now this is our next site. This is a historical moment. The fireplace, number 6. I think that's like halfway. I think there's 12 in all. And now I'm bumping into the Purple Park Road again, which is a one-way road through this trail system. So if you think you're going to go out and loop around and come back on it, you're not. You can go out and back on it, but it's not a loop. And now the Heritage Loop is going to share some space with the Park Road. And then we'll veer off to the left following Heritage Loop. And this brings us to number 8, the charcoal kiln. It's the first of 2, and you can see the second one better, so I'll show you that one. Number 7, Clark Farm, has no orange sign marker, and I struggled to find this a few times coming out, and then found the online handbook that said it's just a pile of rubble. That's all you can find. So it's kind of sad, really. Just think, someday all our houses will just be little mounds of rubble. And someone will walk by and go, "That's the house?" Maybe I shouldn't be laughing over that. Coming up on the start of the red Hartman Trail, Heritage Loop stays forward. As I ponder over the pile of rubble a little more thoroughly, recognize our homes will all one day be a pile of rubble, so don't waste a lot of your life building up your pile. In the end, it just makes for a bigger pile. Instead, go walking the trails and look at the piles. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I think we're at the next site. Right over here to the left. Number 9, the 3 Chimneys, which, if I recall, was some kind of a fort that I don't believe was used for very long. They built it and moved on. I'll take you inside. I'll look around a little bit as I aim toward the marker. Ta-da! And we'll take a sweeping glance. Chimneys 1 and 2. It's very difficult to capture how large this place really is on camera, but it is quite spacious. It is quite a roomy fort. And I'm not a real history buff kind of a person, but I really enjoy coming to this site. But do as the sign marker says, do not move any rocks. It is an important historical location. Keep spinning around over here. And we're on our way. We're off, continuing on the Heritage Loop. And we're bumping into another yellow connector trail. Remember, those will get you from point to point with less mileage in between them. And then coming up here on the left, we should have a scenic route lookout. This is actually not a scenic lookout. I think there's a mystery here about what this really is, that it might have been a fort lookout or just a place to dump extra rocks. I don't really know. But that's the end, so let's go back. Rewind. I have to make a brief right turn on this yellow connector trail to see the next site, which is right here on the left. Ta-da! Number 10, the sheep shed. They actually used that big boulder as part of the pen. Rewind again. And we're going forward on the Heritage Loop once more, but this time continuing in the correct direction to the left, with a happy bridge just waiting for us. Woo-hoo! Some of my favorite things. And that's what this tour is all about. Yellow connector trail to the left. If you want to do shortcut and go back home and not see any more sights, you could escape the trail there, but why would we want to do that? Let's keep going, because there's some more to see up here. One thing you might choose to escape out here are all the mosquitoes. This is swampland, so do not come out here in warm weather without your protective clothing and whatever chemicals you think you might need, because you'll get eaten alive out here if you don't. You'll be running for that yellow connector trail saying, "Take me home." But if you're properly geared up, fun Heritage Loop, let's find more stuff. And we're at another yellow connector trail. That's actually a really nice one. There's bridges on it, and it leads up to the field entrance, which we'll be at later. But for now, white arrow, you know what that means. Number 8, charcoal kiln, number 2 of 2. And this one has a plaque. And this is the kiln area. It's an indentation around a small mound in the center, which you really couldn't see at the last one, which is why I saved this one as a demonstration. But now it's time for this bridge. Woohoo! And the next site. And this site has a bench, so if you wanted to sit here and... It's weird, the bench isn't facing the direction of the site, though. I don't know what you're supposed to be looking at here. Maybe the swamp way in the background? But here we go. Site number 11, Stone End House. This was somebody's mansion, which still has a bench. All right, continuing forward, going up the telephone pole line road, and then we'll turn right onto Heritage Loop, and it will take us to the flume. The next site I'm going to take you to, if you don't look at that heritage map, the park map, you would never know this next secret was even here, because even the blazes, although they're here, are a little hidden. There's the start of the blue trail we'll be doing later. And you really have to know what you're looking for. So we're going to take this yellow connector trail, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment. This white trail, see, it's nice blazed. You can see, oh, there's an attraction up ahead. But this isn't cleared real well, this trail. It's a little hidden, it's not raked. I think it's to discourage foot traffic because we're at number 12, the cemetery. And they do say, do not touch any of the stones. Why would anyone touch the stones? I don't understand. There's two more. Do you see them? And there are no names on them. I think they have suspicions about who they are, but no one really knows. And there's a little stone bench here in case you wanted to look down at the swamp or sit and ponder over the graves and mortality and houses of rubble. All too depressing for me. I don't want to sit on the bench. I'm going to backtrack on white to yellow to the Heritage Loop and keep things upbeat and happy as I make it back to the Purple Park Road beginning. Ta-da! And now it's time to do the blue Hartman Trail to the red Hartman Trail. And this is how it looks on the map. Starting at the parking lot, we need to get to the blue trail. To do that, we'll go on the purple to the orange, do the steep climb up blue, back onto the orange. We're going to borrow that Heritage Loop to get us to the beginning of red. And once we're on red, we'll combine with the Goodwin Trail, and we'll see some natural attractions along the way, some parts of nature. We'll keep following that red trail, then we're going to backtrack a little, do a little exploring, take the field walk, continue on red, all the way home. And we're off again. And again, I'm going to keep marking where these intersections on with colored arrows so you can really see how clear it is. You can feel very confident coming out here knowing you're not going to get lost in this trail system. And now we're at the first site, which is a stone bridge, which has something to do with the mill, the old mill that was here. I don't know, read the signs. I'm not that type of tour guide. We're back on the school area picnic site. And this time we're going to continue straight forward until we get to the intersection. We're not going to follow the Purple Park Road. We're going to borrow this Heritage Loop section right here. And now we're going to go to the start of the blue Hartman Trail. We're off. Not long after being on the blue, you'll bump into the yellow connector. Don't take it. Stay on blue. It may be a little more challenging than orange, a little bit steeper, but it is also a smoother ride, less rocks. Don't be afraid of the blue trail. And there are lots of intersections. Here's the purple road. If you wanted to opt out because you said, hey, this is steeper than I thought it would be, you could go that way. It really isn't that steep. Don't quit on me. Follow blue. Tree portal. See, you would have missed that. And it's like as often as you do a climb, you get a plateau rest or a downhill rest. Now we're at a yellow connector trail. So again, if you wanted to go a quick route to one of the historical sites, you do not have to do the thorough loop, the scenic exploration. But I love the scenic exploration, especially on Fast Forward. Hang in there a little further. End of Blue Trail. Woohoo! You've intersected with the Heritage Loop, which we're going to do on Super Fast Forward. Because you've already seen this once. Why would you want to see it again? I wouldn't do that to you. This is all still Heritage Loop. You've seen this before. See, we're coming up on the charcoal kiln. We're going over the little bridge. Over the river and through the woods. Ta-da! We're at the start of the Red Hartman Trail. This time, we're going to take a red and we're actually going to walk on it. Up along Three Chimneys Ridge, which will circle around and come back on Razorback Ridge. Super fast! Here we go! Woo! That was fun. I like to speed things up when I think it was only fun for me and it might be just a little too long for you, especially getting over those rocks. Coming in on the right is the Goodwin Trail, which connects 4 towns. I believe it's East Haddam, Salem, East Lyme, and Lyme. It's like a 13-mile trail, so it shares space with our Red Hartman Trail here for a while. We'll be journeying together. I've now made it around the bend and I'm heading back on Razorback Ridge. Check out this cool rock. This is one of my favorite things. Hiking over cool rocks. And this is some kind of a lookout. With the moss, it's so pretty. There we go. Woo! I dare you to go down to the edge there. Not me. Yellow connector trail to the left, but we're not going to take it. We're going to stay on Red Goodwin. Red Green Goodwin? Red Hartman Green Goodwin? Whatever. Look at this rock scramble we're about to do. Holy cow. I'm just kidding. Your rock scrambling days are behind you on the Orange Heritage Loop. That was just a trick. I promise you. We're just going to go right here across these little bridges. No scrambling, just walking. And now we're coming upon, dun 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 dun, wait for it, the Stone Serpent. Woo! This is going to be fun. Buckle up. In case you thought all the fun ended with the Stone Serpent. Oh, no, look at this. I love natural fun features along a trail, even if it's a tunnel of green by a giant boulder. What more do you want? Everything can't just be piles of house ruins. Some things have to be different around here. Like giant rock climbs. This is not a giant rock climb. It's a little rock hill. But it is very hot out. So it's not as easy as it looks. I need water. Water. Laughing Rock should be coming up here on the right. A lot of features on this map you have to kind of find on your own. That is definitely Laughing Rock. Ask me how I know. If that's not Laughing Rock, I don't know what is. But you do have to puzzle through some of the things and figure out, does it mean by a charcoal kiln? All right, now we're getting to some good stuff. Or some more good stuff, I should say. Gosh, come on, what do you want from this tour? And up on our right, Turtle Rock. The first time I came here, I could not see the turtle, but I totally see it this time. The trick is really to be standing in the right place at the right time on bald nubble. Otherwise, you'll miss the turtle. Sorry, my trucker poles are kind of clanking around here behind me while I film. That's looking back and sweeping down behind me. Ooh, and turn around and continuing on. I'm about to head down through mountain laurel switchbacks, which are some of my favorite things. Mountain laurel trees and switchbacks. I mean, you throw in a bridge with a stream under it, maybe a view of a meadow, cliffs in the background. I mean, let's just spring for everything here. I think it's all coming though. Anyway, mountain laurel, continuing on. I would like to mention, I know I'm not giving you much time to listen to the sounds of nature, but to be fair, most of the cicadas of summer are gone, and now it's just mosquitoes everywhere, buzzing. I'm trying to cover them up with my talking. This is Snout Rock, which I think looks more like finger pointing rock. Look, it's a finger and a thumb, but someone named it Snout Rock, so I guess we'll go with that. You know, I could swear somebody really wanted to go over a bridge, especially one over water, in the middle of the mountain laurel, with tons of mosquitoes all around. It is like a dream come true. I know you're really excited about this one because I am too. It's a special find. You can only know of its existence if you look at the map first. Otherwise, you could hike right by this and go, yeah, it's a bunch of cliffs. Whatever. Focus on the trail. But if you know it's here, you'll glance over your shoulder to the right and you'll watch as you go by, as I am, and you will see very special things called caves. Cave cliff. We found it. Woohoo! Gotta pay attention or you miss the good stuff. This is where Goodwin Trail goes off to the right, continues on, and we stay on Red Hartman Trail. Over the bridge. I mean, come on. Coming up on our next intersection, we're staying on Red. This is the Yellow Connector Trail, but Red kind of zigzags here, so you kind of have to twist and turn. Don't go up that Yellow Connector Trail. Not yet. I'll take you there later. Stay with me. Follow me. Turn this way. Right over here. Red Hartman Trail. Good job. We'll be traveling along the edge of the swamp here. So if you did not wear your bug spray or bug net or safe clothing, well, you're probably already gone back home. You probably already quit because it'll be a little worse over here. I'll give you a peek. I'm hiking up and away from the swamp, staying on Red Hartman Trail, but we don't want to miss that field trail because fields are my favorite thing. So I say we back up and go check it out. Are you with me? Good. Rewind. And we're back at the intersection. Let's go up to the field entrance, staying on the Yellow Connector. That is the field trail up ahead to the left, but I'm going to resist the temptation of running out there because I love fields so much. And I'm going to stay on this Yellow Connector Trail because there is a site to see that I haven't found yet called Lily Rock. And it's supposed to be right here off to the left of this road. I see Lily Pile of Rocks and another Lily Pile of Rocks. I see a giant boulder, but it's on the wrong side of the trail. Could that be Lily Rock? It's a mystery. I mean, it seems like if you were going to name a rock, it would be a giant rock, but it doesn't look like a lily. Do lilies grow on it? I don't know. It's not very clear, and I haven't been able to find the answer anywhere. So that's the yellow connector there. We just came up that way to the left, and we're going to go right onto the field trail because Lily Rock was a little bit of a disappointment. We're going to end this with a field trail, a hike through the grass. And was that my husband and dog walking ahead of me a minute ago? Yes, and they've already gone, left me behind. I'm going to have to go really fast to catch up with them because they're so speedy. Wait for me, Barsoom! He's named after a famous sci-fi novel. And in fact, I'll give you a little hint. The white spot in the end of his tail is called John Carter. Get it? John Carter on Mars. We're back at the intersection. When we walked the swamp before, we came up here to this point, and then we did it in reverse and went backward. Well, we're now here again. We're going to go up this hill, but we're going to go there really fast to show you the next great thing. Here we go. Ta-da! We're here. Another lookout. Red trail goes to the left, but let's take a detour down to the right. Check this out for ourselves. This massive boardwalk was put in by the power company so that they could work on those power lines there. It's kind of a cool place to walk. Just be careful, there are holes in this deck. It could fall into the swamp and never be seen nor heard from again. And if you're wondering why there's mosquitoes here, this is your answer. Please wear a bug net for your own protection, or you will be lunch. They'll find your ensanguinated body on the shore. All right, staying red on Hartman Trail. More swamp, which is, I guess, the same swamp. I'm just looking at it from a different angle. Bridge! Woo! I love me a good bridge. Yellow connector trail to the cemetery. We hit that from the other side when we did the Heritage Loop. And now we're going to continue on Red Hartman. And this bit of Red Hartman Trail will lead us along the border of the swamps, all the way back toward the entrance again. I'm going to speed things up a little for you. When you come visit the park on your own, you can take your time and really look around. Let's take one more last peek over the swamp. Soak it all in, and then on our way again because we're almost done. I'm going to take you to the last special place here on this trail. So we're back at the picnic area, going back to schoolroom. Look at this. There is a giant chalkboard here for visitors to sign. Chalk and everything. So be sure you do it. It's time to explore the Green Ferry Trail. This is a quick out and back, but worth the trip. Just after parking, the ferry trail entrance is to the right. You do not go down the Purple Park Road. It's before that. And here we go. You'll be greeted with a welcome visitor sign. And then you will be welcomed with something really amazing. You know what it is, right? A boardwalk. And after the first boardwalk and bridge, you'll get to a second one. It's a great trail, right? There's a yellow connector trail to lead you into a different area of Hartman Park, but we're going to stay here on the Green Ferry Trail. Now keep your eye on the left, right up ahead. You're greeted with the beautiful fairy circle. So if you were hiking here with kids, you'd want to save this to the very end. That way you could say, there's a special surprise, and it really isn't that far of a walk in. And they can leave a little token of their own. But no taking the fairy tokens. They will come after you. I'm not kidding around. That is serious business. Do not steal from the fairy folk. Never heard from again. And we're on our way. There was a creepy doll back there. I did not film it. That just seemed like bad luck even looking at it. So here we are at the top of the fairy trail. And now, instead of going on to the Heritage Loop, we're going to spin around and go back down. Come along. It'll be quick, like a super fast ride. But I don't want to leave out the bridges. You always want to do bridges twice. I mean, at least twice. Ta-da! And that is the end of our Hartman Park hike. The duck cart.